We all know that crazy shit happens in the bear market, but we haven't seen this happen since way back in 2019. Bitcoin, crypto, morning tea, hey. Good morning, everybody. My name's pianomattyb. That is Scaramucci's, and this is your morning TA. A brief glimpse into the crypto markets, where the sun's shining, where the winds blow. All the humble opinion of this piano Zamboni bringing the down. The FOMO index has remained at 39, frozen in a state of fear. Bitcoin dominance is 48.3%. 24-hour volume is 15 billion. The overall market cap is 1.05 trillion. Give or take 100 million. G major 7th. Add the 6th. What a sweetheart of a chord. Caregiving nurture by nature. She comes from a long line of nurses. Tends to date men who need fixing. Has a couple of close friends who secretly hate her because she never wears makeup and still looks radiant. You should wear these fake eyelashes, they tell her. No thanks, she says. Well, at least some foundation, to even out a bit. No thanks, replies G major 7th. They either see me for me or I move on, and I'm not really interested in how I'm perceived, leaving her friends drop-mouthed and speechless. Well, here we are in the exact same place we were 24 hours ago. Only difference is the volume. It's the lowest I think I've seen since I started making these videos. You have to go all the way back to February of 2019 to see 24-hour volume lower than 15 billion. Currently underneath all three moving averages. Our exit levels on this noisy little so-and-so are up at 26.3 and down at 25K, but a drop down would probably happen pretty fast. This is a low volume area with little to no support, hooks or crannies. Now over on the ding dong, our exit points are down at 25K and up at 28K with some notable headwinds coming at us at this 27.2-ish level, where we see the 20 moving average crossing bearish over the 200, which is probably the most bearish signal we have today. So I'm expecting some more downward action before the inevitable reversal. Quick look at the Wookiee. Sees we do have some hidden bullish divergence, with price action making higher lows while the RSI has made lower lows. It's not my favorite type of bullish divergence, as it's more of a continuation indicator rather than a full-blown reversal indicator. But with little to no movement or action to react to, we have to drum up whatever we can get. It's the humble opinion of this piano that there's a high probability that we see price action drop to test the 50 moving average at 24K-ish, which is at but slightly below our channel support level. And I won't be putting my bullish rally cap on till we can jimmy ourselves back up and into our ascending channel support level, which is acting as resistance now up at 28K-ish. Oh, G major 7th, there she is again. She'll sneak up on you. She will. Would you look at that, my friends? The sun is up. It's another beautiful day here on planet Earth. A day we're not guaranteed. We're not guaranteed these days, but we're lucky enough to have them. So get out there and knock them dead. And remember, we're playing the same game as our psychopathic elected leads. That's right, it's the long game. So zoom out and have a fantastic day. And we'll be going live right away, so grab yourself a cup of coffee, join me for a quick one, and sing me out, won't you? Over on the banks of Boom Dash Bang. Whoa! Cha-cha-cha-ching! Another beautiful day here on planet Earth. A day we're not guaranteed these days. Whoa, what's going on here? Oh, I remember. I see. I got to take the comments off because the computer crashed right before I pressed go live. So how do I do this again? Take this screen share out. No. Oh dear. 1 second here. Well, now nothing's working. There. Jesus. Yeah, just like a Mac, you know. Everything's fine. You press live. You get that circling ball of death. You know something's gonna. Boys are back in town. That's right. That's my lyrics I'm trying to learn for this weekend. The boys are back in town. Change it to the Bulls, right? So I'm kind of front running September because September's not going to be a nice one. Good morning, Christopher, Marcello Mena, Das Beach, Jolly Peanut, Squeaky McGee, Dave Digital, Terry Crow, pianomattyb, OG, Richard Tweedle, Mike Loney, Bruce Mai, Sneaky Pete, BC, Earth Scum, Flippa Frank, Rabbit Peanut, Mark Stone, Bullish on Parade, Dan Lucia, Otis, Sherry, JP, Ray Run, Hunter's Blow, Mad Faded Baby, Flatsmack, Johnny December, and Belize, pianomattyb, OG, Sarah S. in California. Yeah, it was a weird one this morning. When I woke up, I was like, it's the exact same price it was last 24 hours ago. So I almost didn't make a video because I'm like, well, how do I make a video when price action is the exact same it was 24 hours ago? So my motto, like we talked about last week, is just put one foot in front of the other and just start walking. So that's what I did. I just started writing the script and, because nothing happened, I had to fill in with some chord personality descriptions. I haven't done that in so long. I can't remember. I used to do that every day. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, how did I have the time to do that? Do the chord and then the TA. I don't know because I can't. That almost pushed me over the edge. That the little, it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes of production, but there's no time for it in the gauntlet. When the gauntlet's running, I don't have 15 minutes to kind of experiment with what I should or shouldn't do because it'll blow out the time. Yes, I saw a couple guys flirting in the comment section. Dave Digital and Hunter's Blow. Yes, Spencer Secure chord was pure genius comedy. Thank you, Spencer. I used to do those every single day. And I think the reason I was doing that was we were crashing. The market was crashing. This was 2021, so we were constantly going down. So I thought it would bring kind of levity to the blood on the streets that we were enduring on a daily basis. But then I ran through all the chords. There's only so many chords and variations of them. The G major 7th, add the 6th. I could have add the 2nd, or you know what I mean.
So I just ran through all the chords, and there was simply no more chords to do unless I did the same chord with a different thing. So yes, the news has come out, kind of, about Ben. Man, it's to me it's heartbreaking, because I've had some close friends kind of lose it to addiction. One in particular was the drummer, my first drummer I played with in the band Lederhouse. So Lederhouse was the first band I was ever in. I was very young. I was 20 when I wrote that album. And the drummer was 6 years younger than me when I was 20. So he was 14. So that's 20 to 14 is quite a big jump. Now, who cares, right? 6 years is nothing now that once you get up into the age altitude we're at now, 6 years is just a rounding error. So he was 14, and he was the drummer for Lederhouse. And if you go on YouTube and you search Lederhouse, Leaderhouse, I have a bunch of videos up from way back. Listen to the drums and think to yourself, or say to yourself, that's a 14-year-old kid playing the drums, because the drumming on that album is just unbelievable now, considering he's 14. Anyway, as time moved on, he grew, morning, Randy, he grew into addiction. And yeah, Sarah S. knows who I'm not going to say his name, who he was. He was unbelievable. Not only was he a great drummer, he was a great musician, great singer. He's like a quarterback as a drummer. He knew who was doing things wrong. He wasn't like a dumb drummer. He was a very smart drummer, very musical, great singer too. And he had some addiction things, and they would cycle. So he'd cycle into them and kind of destroy his life. And then he would come out of it, and he would get back on the sober wagon, I suppose, and start working. And he would go, he was in Nashville, he was in LA, he was playing with a ton of, who's that, Chicken Fried? A whole lot of Chicken Fried. And one day on a Friday night. Playing with that guy. He was just, he was one of the greatest drummers I've ever played with, and I've ever really heard. And so when things would start going great for him, he would tend to cycle into addiction. Zach Brown, that's right, Misco. Morning, Misco. It was almost like clockwork, and he would just cycle into his addictions. And I'm not sure what was his, his demon of choice, because at that point I had tuned out kind of. I spoke through his family. And then he would come out of it, and he would have a normal life, and he would be doing well, and very kind of humbled by his experience, and he would start building his life again. Then things would start going really well for him, and it would kick off the next phase of the addiction. And the last time it happened, well, the first time that I really experienced it was I went down to LA he was in LA to finish writing an album for his sister. His sister's, his name, Sarah. And she like sings with all those Scary Pockets and the jukebox thing, the vintage jukebox. Like she's those singers. Like she's an unbelievable singer. And she had somewhat of a development deal with Sony Music, so we went down to write her album. And when I got there, he was out of his mind. And I thought it was just maybe he was partying for a day, but he disappeared for about 48 hours, and he came back, and he didn't know that anything had gone wrong. So I phoned his parents and said, man, you got to come get him because he's not doing well. And the parents were kind of like, well, we know, but we've been told it has to run its course, and it's got to hit rock bottom, so to speak. So I'm like, okay, but I'm going, so he's going to be on his own. So I went to, I learned a valuable lesson in there too, that the LAX shuts down at midnight. So I just took an Uber to LAX thinking I'll just sit in the airport and maybe get something to eat. It's closed. I didn't know that. So I had to sit out there like a homeless person from 12 till 6 a.m. Anyway, he got himself out of that somehow and came back to Winnipeg, and we started another band, if you can believe it. It was through another guy. He brought us together. Bruce May says, even if Ben did actually beat his substance abuse, the addictive personalities will find something to obsess with. Perhaps it explains how Ben has become so laser focused. Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, there's that demon is always there, and it just takes the weirdest thing. For instance, when I was younger, I smoked cigarettes. I know it seems crazy. It seems crazy to me to even think about that. But when I finally got rid of that silly monkey on my back, it's not like the urge to smoke just went away. I always thought it was always there. I just communicated with it different. Instead of saying yes or okay to it, I just said no, and it just kind of dissipated. The feeling that me of wanting to do that dissipated. I mean, it's just cigarettes. It's not that, but they say cigarettes is the most addictive thing, besides heroin, of course. And so, I forgot what I was saying. Every time I read a comment, it's like my two brains. It reminds me of piano. When I'm playing piano, I'm singing the song, but I'm watching the comments and I'm feeling the vibes from the crowd. When I'm doing this live stream and I'm reading the comments, the mind separates. Anyway, he came back. We started another band. It was like an event band. We were just a three-piece. He was the drummer. I was the bass player. I'm not a bass player, but I just played the bass to fill out the three-piece. And I've always loved the three-piece. I think they're cool just to be in a three-piece. And even though I just started playing the bass, he made me a good bass player because he's such a good drummer. And that's what a good musician will kind of do for anyone. He'll just make everyone better. And then the band started doing well. We were getting lots of gigs. It was a pro band. So you were talking about obsessive disorders. Right with Ben. I'll remember that. Thanks, Ray Run. And the band started doing well, started getting all these high-paying gigs, traveling and stuff. And then all of a sudden something clicked in him. And I just noticed his personality changed. So someone said that it sounds like bipolar. Yeah, there was definitely some mental issues that developed that kicked everything off, whether it was bipolar or borderline personality disorder. Something was wrong. Anyway, that was a really bad cycle for him, and he ended up homeless, and he went to jail, and he got beat up in jail. And I think now, I heard from his lawyer that he is living in Saskatchewan, and he's recovering again. So I wish him the best of luck. I hope everything works out for him because he's super talented, and he's a real nice sweetheart type of dude, if anyone ever knew him. Anyway, so with Ben, it's heartbreaking to see that at the pinnacle of his success, and we're at the helm of another bull run. So, I mean, think about where his channel is now. The success he's created and worked for now is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger as this bull run keeps going. So to see him kind of have this trip up now, it's heartbreaking to me because it's never good when that happens, especially with someone who's so larger than life. But just like I say about Ben all the time, never count that guy down, never count him out. He's got a pretty strong support. Depending on how deep he is in his cycle, who knows when it'll come out. So yeah, we'll see how this one plays out. It's a weird one. It would have been nice and easier if it was some legal matter. but because it's such a personal matter to a certain degree, I just hope the best for him, and I hope he can pull out for everyone involved, especially the team. I imagine it was hard for TJ and his friend Justin to have to do that, but I get it, because there comes a time where you have to turn your back on that person for their own good. You know, like I came back into the drummer's life to help him all the time, and it never did anything. In fact, it just made it worse. The more help that kind of was giving to him, because when someone hits that addictive cycle, they almost turn into a sociopath, where they become master liar, master manipulator, and they can really manipulate the pants off any helper that comes into the orbit. It's like when they sense someone's coming to help, they can just work that person to the bone. So I had to turn my back on him, and I think his friend Ben's TJ, his partner, and his best friend had to turn his back on them. At some point, if you don't step away, you become a part of the problem by enabling. Yes. And that's a hard lesson to learn, because, I mean, it's in our nature as human beings to be compassionate. Like, when you see your friend down and out, the last thing you want to do is walk away. You want to do an inventory of how you can help. Okay, well, what can I do? How can I do to help this? And you rack your mind trying to do it, and you try to do everything you can, and you wonder, well, nothing's working. It seems like this seems like a fruitless pursuit, and it is, because they're not really them, is what I've learned. Is that when they hit that state, they're no longer that person you knew or you're trying to help. They're kind of like, they're almost possessed. You know, it's a real weird possession, and you can see them in there. Like when you look in their eyes, you can see the person you're trying to help, but there's like a demon outside their being that's very nasty, very manipulative, filled with lies, and will do things to you that you couldn't believe, right? And then you have to almost separate the two person, like the person in the addiction and you know, the person who's kind of slowly dying from the addiction, I suppose. But that's the lesson I learned, and I guess they'll be learning that lesson now. Johnny December down in Belize, we got some pianomattyb OGs in the comment section. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate you helping me build the channel with me. 59 likes. Yesterday was the busiest stream we had, and I don't believe in likes or comments. I know everyone preaches them, but I've done some deep dives into, like, there's a guy named George Gammon who every now and then he calls him looking under the hood, his YouTube hood, and he'll go and he'll do kind of synopsis on his YouTube channel, and he said that the guy that told him how to run his channel said you could have 0 likes, 0 comments, and it won't affect it. But I don't know. We had over 100. So if you haven't liked, let's see what happens. If everyone likes, I suppose most people are liking. You know, I have subscriber only, right? So I had to put subscriber only because on the piano stream, and this is indicative of Winnipeg, the people that are live behind the kind of, I call it the kill zone, where it's the best sound, they usually end up on the stream and wreaking havoc. They don't subscribe. They just sit there and kind of troll. And it's the people in Winnipeg, which is, you know, very Winnipeg. I know Sarah S., she's always deleting their comments and everything. So I just switched to subscriber only. So, yes. Hunter's Blow. Don't go Wendy on us. She pounds her hands on the table demanding likes. Who's Wendy? Well, Wendy Griffs with no shame. Wendy. Oh, yes. I don't know. I've never actually watched a Wendy video. I've seen her on Around the Blockchain, but I've never really seen that. Yeah. Well, I'm not a full believer in it, but, you know, Sarah S. says, Winnipeg is special when it comes to supporting. Yeah, it's a funny little town because if you can make it out of the waves, so to speak, if you can make it more successful outside of Winnipeg, the Winnipeg support comes flooding in. But if you're in Winnipeg, kind of hashing it out, so to speak, you end up playing to a bunch of people kind of crossing their arms, waiting for you to dazzle them, which is fine, especially been in it. Brendan, the algorithm eye roll. There's an entire industry around fooling Google's algorithms, SEO. Yeah, it's one of like the great mysteries, YouTube's algorithm. Even the people that work at YouTube, they have their own channels now after they kind of debunking the algorithm. You still can't really get a straight answer from them. It's all kind of, hocus pocus to a certain degree. I just believe put your head down, make good content, and not worry about it, so to speak. Even though it can affect you. You can put a lot of work into some things and they just don't seem to go anywhere. That's fine. That's just part of the game. Mad Faded Biddy says, the price you pay for living in the land of beautiful people. Yes, it does have a lot of beautiful women here. That's for sure. It did. Not so much anymore. We've gone over this before on the stream. They've when the Jets came, that was peak beautiful girl in the city. And since the Jets have been here, and they're partly at fault, the beautiful girl quotient has kind of been watered down, so to speak. Richard Tweedy, your work is appreciated. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate it. I know that the community here is unbelievable. It's really what, like today when I was, I'm not going to make this video. I got there's nothing. Like TA is about reaction to action. And if the price hasn't moved, there's really nothing. So I do it because the community is so supportive. So I feel I have a duty and responsibility to, make an effort at least, right? And so that's what it was. So there's a wasp. We've done 5 kabangs. Hey, look at this. Fibonacci just staring like a psychopath. Did I hear psychopath, he says? He starts to creep over. Yeah, he's a good-looking cat. He's just a weirdo, though. Like, watch. He's like, he's liquid. If you pet him, he'll yeah. Anyway. So September's coming up. Traditionally the worst month. As if this August wasn't bad enough. September's coming. Historically, it has an average of a 7% downturn. So now with 7% from where we are now, it would drop to 24K, which is the 50 moving average on the weekly. So if you go back to the video, I say I wouldn't be surprised if it hits the 50 moving average on the weekly, which is 24K underneath the thing. So will it? I don't know. I feel like when it comes to these downturns, I just like to get them over with. I'd rather have them fast than this lagging slowly down, then a little bit up, then a little bit down. But, there's really there's no macro data that's saying anything good's happening. Is it possible we have had September early in August and it just pulls forward? Yeah, but if you look at one of those charts, I should have had it, of course. There's never been a green September, I don't think. I don't think there's ever been a green September. Maybe there's been one. So there's a good chance that if it doesn't go down, it may just sit here for the whole month. But we have the FOMC meeting September 20th. Hi, buddy. How's it going? Good? Oh, you're going to bring Fibonacci into the... Oh, here's a ragdoll. See, this is why he's half ragdoll, because he'll just sit here like this, as if it's comfy. So where are you going to drink your coffee and go live in the snow? Well, storm chasing video, that's an interesting question, because I've been thinking about it. I don't really want to do it from the studio, although I might. But then I've
Storm chasing video.
Storm chasing video. I think he's on the West Coast, if I believe. Is he in Portland? Storm chasing video. Where are you tuning in from? Because he's in the auto business. Be careful. Anyway, I've had some even crazier ideas. Oh no! There's too many wires here. Just have a seat, buddy. This house of cards is delicate. Looks normal, but there's a ton of wires here. I've been taking cold baths. I know, buddy. I've been taking cold baths, and I thought, well, it'd be quite a bizarre thing to do it from a cold bath. But that's a whole other thing. I'm not sure I have the. I'm not sure I could pull this off submerged in a cold bath. But it's been one of the ideas. We have about a month. Minnesota. That's right, Storm. I was thinking about Captain Swanky Pants. These names, eh? Storm chasing video from Minnesota. That's right.
Is that like Captain Underpants?
A little bit. Minnesota's right underneath us in the States, my boy. So.
No.
Yeah, it is.
No, it isn't.
No, it isn't. Well, you
It's
tell me
that
where it
way.
is. Well, that's south, right?
Yeah, so we're going that way if we want to go to the
Right. You're right.
It's not that way.
Right. It's that way. So you bearish or bullish today, Duke? Bullish. I guess you think Nanny's in the chat. Anyway, can you sing these good people out, my boy?
We're playing the same game as our psychopaths that collected elites. That's right, it's a long game. So zoom out and have a fantastic day. Around the banks
Watch
of
it.
this bank. Bitcoin, crypto, morning tea. Hey.
All right, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Make sure you like and subscribe and share this video.